You wake up. Except, you don't really wake up the way normal people wake up. There's no stretching, no yawning, no lying in bed for 5 extra minutes pretending your alarm didn't go off. You wake up inside a helmet, inside a suit, inside a breathing machine that immediately reminds you, with a very loud, very rhythmic sound, that without it, you would be dead. Good morning. You are Darth Vader, the most feared being in the entire galaxy, second in command of a galactic empire, master of the dark side of the Force, and your day has already started terribly. We've all imagined being a powerful villain, the cape, the voice, the ability to walk into any room and watch every single person immediately reconsider their life choices. Sounds incredible from the outside. But here's the thing nobody imagines. Nobody pictures the part where you're basically a burnt piece of toast stuffed inside a walking life support machine, taking orders from the galaxy's worst employer, completely alone inside the most recognizable helmet in cinematic history. So today, we're going to live it, together. One full day as Darth Vader. Buckle up, it's going to be a rough one. So you've woken up. Great. First order of business, breathe. Not metaphorically, literally. The machine in your suit handles this for you, which sounds helpful until you realize that the constant mechanical breathing sound follows you everywhere. Every room you walk into, every meeting you attend, every quiet moment you try to have. You cannot sneak up on anyone. You cannot have a private thought in silence. The breathing announces you constantly, like a very dramatic, very loud alarm that never turns off. Next, breakfast. Except you cannot eat normally anymore. The suit makes that complicated. So while the rest of the Imperial fleet is having their morning coffee and toast, you're dealing with the reality of a body that was burned so severely that basic human functions require workarounds that nobody prepared you for. Most people complain about Monday mornings. You don't have mornings. You have the continuous operational state of a machine that also contains a person. Then you look in the mirror. Except you can't really do that either. Because the helmet. Because always the helmet. You have not seen your own face in years. Time for work. You stride down the corridor of your Star Destroyer, cape flowing, boots echoing, every stormtrooper you pass snapping to rigid attention. On the surface, this looks extremely cool. And look, it is kind of cool. We're not going to pretend it isn't. But here's what's actually happening. Every single person in that corridor is terrified of you. Not impressed, not inspired, terrified. They are not standing at attention because they respect you. They are standing at attention because the last person who didn't stand at attention correctly had a very bad afternoon. So your entire workplace runs on fear, which means nobody tells you the truth. Nobody brings you good ideas. Nobody says, hey, maybe this plan has some problems. They just nod and agree and desperately hope you don't look at them too long. You are the most powerful person in every room you enter, and you are completely surrounded by people who would rather lie to you than risk your reaction to honesty. That's not leadership. That's just a very large, very expensive room full of very scared people. You have meetings. Of course you have meetings. Even the dark side has meetings. And in these meetings, everyone is incompetent. The admirals make terrible decisions. The officers mismanage everything. The plans fail constantly. And every time something goes wrong, you are expected to respond. Not by having a productive conversation about what went wrong, but by force choking someone. Which, yes, works in the short term. But here's the management problem with force choking your employees every time they fail. Human Resources has sent several memos about this. You have force choked the HR department. The problem continues. And above all of this, above every meeting, every decision, every moment of authority you exercise, there is Palpatine, watching, judging, occasionally calling to remind you that you exist to serve his vision, not your own. You are second in command of the galaxy. You answer to exactly one person, and that one person is the reason your life went this way in the first place. Here's the part of your day that nobody talks about, the quiet moments. Because between the meetings and the corridor striding and the force choking, there are moments when you are simply alone, in your chamber, helmet off if you're in the right pressurized environment. And in those moments, Anakin Skywalker is still in there somewhere, looking at what his life became. You think about Padme. You think about her every day. The person you loved so completely that fear of losing her is what broke everything. She died anyway. Not from the thing you feared, from the thing you became. You think about your children, somewhere out there living lives you know nothing about, growing up without you. You can feel them through the Force sometimes. A pull, a presence, close enough to feel, too far to reach. You sit in your chamber and you breathe, mechanically, rhythmically, the machine doing what your body cannot. And you are the most powerful being in the galaxy, and you are completely, totally, devastatingly alone. Most people, when they have a hard day, go home to someone, call a friend, pat their dog, do something small and human that reminds them they belong somewhere. You have a pressurized meditation chamber and memories that never stop hurting. Day is over, sort of. The dark side doesn't really have office hours. But let's say you get a moment at the end of whatever passes for a day in your existence. You stand at the viewport of your Star Destroyer, looking out at space, the stars, the silence. Well, not silence because of the breathing, but you understand what we mean. And you think about the boy you used to be. A kid on a desert planet who could fix anything, who could fly anything, who was told he was special and believed it because the Force itself seemed to agree. A kid who just wanted to be free and protect the people he loved. That kid made choices, and those choices made this: the helmet, the suit, the machine, the empire, the loneliness, the breathing that never stops. And tomorrow you will wake up inside the helmet again, and the day will start exactly the same way. Because this is not a bad day. This is your life. This is every day. The most feared being in the galaxy, the most powerful dark side user alive, the chosen one who was supposed to bring balance, standing alone at a viewport, breathing mechanically, carrying everything, belonging to nothing. So that's your day as Darth Vader. Still want the cape? Because here's the truth. Underneath the most iconic villain in cinema history, underneath the breathing and the helmet and the Force lightning and the galaxy-wide terror, there is Anakin Skywalker. A person who wanted the same things most people want. To be loved, to protect the people he cared about, to matter. And he got all the power in the galaxy, and none of the things he actually wanted. At the very end, just for a moment, he got one of them back. He looked at his son. He made one final choice. And maybe, in that moment, one day out of a lifetime of terrible ones was worth something. But that's one moment in a lifetime of the breathing, and the loneliness, and the suit that never comes off. If this hit different, drop a comment. Tell me which character's life you want to live next, because I have a list and trust me, none of them are having a good time. Like and subscribe because Anakin Skywalker deserved so much better. Which he did, obviously. Yeah, that's your life as Darth Vader.